everybody, I'm Tom Vasel. Welcome to Look Back. This is where I take a look at the reviews I did a year, 5 years, and 10 years ago and tell you what I think about them now. Well, 1 year ago was pretty easy. Didn't do any. We were busy doing blogs and things from Gen Con. So let's just start with things that we did 5 years ago. I took a look at Oddball Aeronaut. This is kind of a weird game where you were supposed to be able to play the cards from your hand, like you didn't need to put them on the table. It's one of those Kickstarter games that I felt needed to be play tested more. Didn't feel really balanced. It's an interesting idea, just didn't really pan out. Discount Salmon. This is basically play cards as fast as you can. You're trying to make the salmon look better, so if salmon's ugly, you put lipstick on it. It's a weird game that will appeal to a very specific group of people, not me. A Duel betwixt us. I like the idea of the game more than the gameplay itself. I even dropped it because, again, I think today I would have even stricter standards towards it. It was a little boring. There was a cool mechanism in the game, but the rest of the game was just okay. Quicks, on the other hand, this is a roll and write game, and this came out 5 years ago, which was way before the current, make a million of these. And I think this one has done a little bit better for me just because of the simplicity of it. Another game that's increased for me is Ninja Dice. I really have enjoyed this game. I like the packaging, and I like the expansion a lot. The expansion gave you missions to go on. Other than that, you're just chucking dice. But with the expansion included, Ninja Dice really went up for me. And it's one of those ones I was just looking at my shelf yesterday and like, hey, I still got this game, and I had no desire to get rid of it. I also like the packaging. Looping Louie, played at every convention, it seems. As the Louie goes around, you hit it. I even got some custom things where you can make it bigger than 4 players and have 8, which is insanity. I played this enough times over the years. Over the past 5 years, I probably have played this 20 times. How could I not say it's one that I like? So that's why I raised this. Pagoda is a really curious 2-player game in which 3-dimensional pagodas you're building as you play cards to complete them, kind of like an area control game for 2. Curious for me is the fact that no one talks about this one anymore, which is unfortunate because it's a pretty solid game. Justice League strategy game. This was when WizKids had the license to make all sorts of cool things, as long as they had clickable figures, kind of a cooperative style game. I don't know how well this one's going to hold up. I wouldn't be surprised that when I look at this in 5 more years, that it just doesn't get any play at all. But it was a good idea and worked. Doomtown Reloaded. Wow, we just talked about this one here in the office. It was a kind of a living card game that AEG did. I liked it a lot when I played it, but as time has gone by, the complexity of the playing and the fact that there can be uneventful games, I guess is the best word for it sometimes. It's not as clean of a game, not as easy as a game for people to get into, and that really hurts my rating for it because if I want to teach someone a game, it's like, oh, here we go. This is going to be a bear to get through. So those are ones I did 5 years ago. 10 years ago, I did Oko, which was like a fighting style game. You roll dice and stuff with standees. It had some neat art, and that's probably the best. It was just very mediocre for me beyond that. Flat acting, area control of a studio, trying to control different studios in this, movie studio to make the movies you want to make. But the components aren't really that good, which is why this one's dropped a bit. Frontiers is a pretty neat another miniature style game like Oko, but this one you're using flat things with stats on, but this was a much better game. It would even be higher if they had ever released any expansions for it, but Asmodee, which was a much smaller company 10 years ago, never did come out with anything more for this. Tales of Arabian Nights, this one dropped down for me considerably. I like it. I still love playing it. It's hilarious and silly, but if I want good in-depth story, Seventh Continent and other games have kind of buried this one under the table. Then Wits and Wagers. Love this game. 10 years later, still enjoying it, still playing it. One of the most played games we do at conventions and such. Just fantastic. And Giants, the game that got me interested in Matago as a company. Hey, they have little miniatures for each player that were all different models and shapes. You're moving these Easter Island statues on logs. It's a very Euro game, trying to pick up the statues, make the statues, and then deliver them to different spots outside the island. They're remaking this game. I'm still waiting. I played the remake of it, I think, 2 years ago or something. So I'm looking forward to see when that finally gets published. But just if you see a copy of this on a shelf somewhere, give it a whirl. That's giants. So those are reviews that I did 5 and 10 years ago. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching Look Back on the Dice Tower.
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.